Welcome, everybody, to another fantastic episode of SuperShares powered by Q. My name is Joe Marquez, Director of Academic Innovation for Q, and we are so excited that you are here for Spring Q Week. That is right. In just a few short days, we will be ascending upon Palm Springs, California, for one of the greatest, I think, EdTech conferences in the nation. That is the Spring Q Conference, happening March 21st through 23rd in Palm Springs, California. And what we try to do leading up to the event is showcase some of our amazing speakers, some of our amazing vendors, some of the amazing apps that you will be experiencing at the conference. And we want you to get a sneak peek of where you can find them and what they will be showcasing at their booth. So today, I'm excited because this is a tool that I've been using for a very long time. It really transformed what I could do in my science classroom. So I'm really, really excited to see what evolutions have happened since I've stepped away from the classroom. So let me bring on my friend Amber from Pear Deck Learning. Amber, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being here, my friend.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be able to share and see you at Spring Q in a few couple of days, I guess.
Yeah, a couple of days. I mean, it's so exciting that we get to see. It's almost like a family reunion of sorts. You know, the people that we talk to through the socials or through the boxes on the Zooms or the Google Meets or the Teams, we get to see them in person, and it's just this rush of energy of just passion for educators looking to find ways to really elevate their teaching practicums and the experience of students in the classroom. And you know, Pear Deck has done that for me, and I know for many others. So Amber, will you introduce yourself, what you do at Pear Deck, and then let's talk about what we're going to be learning today.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. So Amber Trout, I was also a former educator for 11 years prior. So love it. Get to see all these excited educators. I am the manager of advocacy at Pear Deck, or Pear Deck Learning, which we'll talk about in just a moment. But I actually started with them about 3-4 years ago, going on 4 years, where I was a product trainer and building it all out. But now I run our community and our advocacy programs. So we have our coaches programs and our brand ambassador programs, and I have scaled those all out for our whole portfolio of products. But I also run, have a near and dear to my heart, the Pear Deck, because that's where I started. But it's now one big happy family.
Well, you know, I love the position that you're in because you get to really truly see those educators on the front lines and how they're utilizing the product, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you can see like kind of innovative ways that maybe they're using it that maybe even the Pear Deck engineers had never thought it can be used for. So I envy your position because that's got to be a joy every single day to work with such amazing heroes who are doing the amazing work, right?
It does. And the nice part is that I get ideas from these educators. So instead of me having all the ideas, which I don't, I get to hear from other educators through these programs. And then I take it to everyone else and say, hey, a teacher used this for math and so on. So I'm definitely going to share some of those with you today.
Well, I'm glad. Sharing is caring. I think that's the biggest part of Spring Q is educators from all across, not only California, the United States, or the world. They're here to share how they are changing education in their own region and how possibly they can pass that along. And we're going to learn that today with Pear Deck. But I do have a question for you. When I was using Pear Deck, it was just called Pear Deck, right? And there were all the features in there, but it was Pear Deck. But now it's Pear Deck Learning. What does that encompass? What does that mean? What does that evolution mean?
Yeah, it's definitely a confusion point sometimes because it's got Pear Deck in the name, but actually Pear Deck Learning is all of our tools together in this really nice ecosystem. So we have Pear Deck, which you know and love, that engagement tool where you're going to be able to use it with pre-existing Google Slides or PowerPoint online presentations and makes them interactive. No more sitting and getting, you're actually getting to interact, and you're going to be able to do that in real time with your students through the Pear Deck platform, if you didn't know what it does. Then we also have Pear Assessment, formerly known as Edge Elastic, which is our formative assessment tool, which some of you probably know that former name. Pear Practice, formerly known as Giant Steps, one of our newer products, but it's a gamified learning system that you can do lots of great questions through standard-based learning. And then last but not least, we have Pear Deck Tutor, which is formerly Tutor Me, and it's going to be 365, 24/7 tutoring services online for students to be able to get additional help. So Pear Deck Learning encompasses all these tools, but like I mentioned, most of you probably know and love Pear Deck, which is going to be the same tool just under this umbrella.
I heard, Pear Deck and Edulastic were coming together, but I did not know that I heard of is that is great. I love sometimes when you bring different tools together, the names don't match, and it's like, what do we do? But this is phenomenal, and I think adding all of these new features really enhances what Pear Deck can do.
Mhm.
And I think for me, when I use Pear Deck in the classroom, I always use this filter: inspect, redirect, make correct. Right in the moment of learning, I need to inspect whether my students are learning or not. Pear Deck did that. I can inspect that work, and then I can allow them to make those corrections. But then you incorporate Edulastic assessments into that to truly take a look at that learning over a longer period of time, and then pair practice, and then tutors if they're not. This is amazing. It's like an all-in-one. I mean, this is great.
Exactly. That's exactly what we're trying to make sure that teachers can see, that there's a lot of different tools that can be utilized together. You can you can do Pear Deck, but then you can practice with Pear Practice. You can assess with Pear Assessment, and you can get additional opportunities with Pear Deck Tutor. So all together, a great little system.
Well, I see that, this is a great pairing, right, ecosystem that you have in place. But I've really enjoyed when I see educators app smashing, right, finding another third-party ed tech tool that's out there and then bringing it into Pear Deck to seamlessly create kind of this new experience.
Yes.
What have you seen out there of teachers doing this, of bringing these other tools in to create great experiences?
You're so right. I'm going to grab a link and I'm going to throw it in this side so you can see the student side of mine. But just so you know, app smashing is the new Pear Deck, right? You're going to be able to bring in other tools that you use inside of your Pear Deck presentation, like a 360 image where you can take a virtual tour of the Statue of Liberty. So no more is it going to be, hey, I have to click out to another page. You can embed these things inside of Pear Deck. So these 360 images are great for building that background in virtual field trips, but also you have the ability to add Padlets and flips and Google Forms. Everything can be then inserted into a Pear Deck, and everything can now be in one platform for you to be able to just click through, and students don't get lost on the internet, because we know how that happens and they're never coming back.
Yes. No, that point is very, very essential to why I love this, because think about this. You send them off to somewhere else. Like I used to take them to 360cities.com,
Yep.
right? And you would send them there and they're like, okay, take a look at the Statue of Liberty. Excellent. Let's get back to the lesson. And they're not coming back. They want to do more exploration, and you kind of lost them. But having it in the Pear Deck, when everybody's had their chance to play and explore, and you click that next button, boom, it's there. I love it. I love it.
Exactly. You've taken the classroom management back, right? You don't have to worry
it.
about them staying and playing, because you can move them on forward together. So best part of keeping it all in a website slide within Pear Deck is that you can continue moving kids forward together.
Love it.
Mhm.
Love it. What other embeds or other app smashing, so to speak, have you seen educators using with Pear Deck?
Yeah, so I love, and I've seen educators utilizing, I don't have it on this platform right here, but I'm going to tell you about it. You have collaborative slides. So you can have a slide deck inside of a slide deck embedded in this iframe, which then gives the ability for them to now have kids doing collaborative slides together, taking Google Form tests in there, being able to do a collaborative doc where you put a doc in here and then students are going to be able to then add their ideas to it. Teachers love to have Padlets in here, because then they can do that collaborative boards where they can post on it and be able to see all the responses in real time. And not last but not least, you're going to be able to see that there's also flips that can be in here. So if you're using Flip and you're making those video responses, they can be embedded right here inside of the Pear Deck presentation. So there's endless opportunity here.
Well, I love it. I mean, it's like you become the director of an experience, right? And you can decide when your students are ready to move forward. You can decide when it's time for a collaborative time. And instead of having to say, okay, exit the Pear Deck, let's go into Google Classroom, click on this activity, is everybody in? It's just automatically there. It's seamless. And as soon as they're done, you take them to another page, and it's a short response of, tell us what you learned as a group. right? And it's
Exactly.
there. You've directed that learning all in one space. It's great. That's fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. Because that's what you want, right? You want to be able to gain back your instructional time. The more time that you have kids jumping to all different places on the internet, you've lost time in your
Yeah.
classroom. And as a former educator, you know time is precious. So, what can you do to maximize it using Pear Deck?
Yes. No, I love this. I love this. App smashing was one of my favorite things to do, and to see other educators do that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that Pear Deck can do, right? Help teachers, help direct those things. But there's things right now that are really at the forefront of education, like social emotional learning, digital citizenship, and definitely digital media literacy in the age of AI, right? And I know that Pear Deck has some of these not only built in, but decks built and strategies to incorporate these. Could you share a little bit about how that is happening in Pear Deck Learning?
You sure can. Let me tell you a little bit more about this. So, we're going to be able to see that in the Pear Deck sidebar, when you're opening it up in Google Slides or PowerPoint online, that you're going to have a templates library. There is going to be social emotional learning templates already built in that you're going to be able to pull and put into your pre existing, let me hear that again, pre existing Google Slides presentations or PowerPoint online. You do not have to build from scratch or brand new with Pear Deck. That's going to cause you way more time than necessary. So you can take these like a moment of silence, what's filling or draining your bucket today, stress checks, pop them into your slides and be able to do this social emotional learning check-ins in the middle of your presentations. Not only do you have pre-built ones in here, but you mentioned about all the decks that we have. Also in our content orchard, we have the ability to have ones like brain breaks so that you can talk about emotions, you can talk about challenges. These are things where you're going to be able to have a brain break with the students, but also do that social emotional learning. With social emotional learning and keeping kids safe online, we have digital citizenship, don't we?
Mhm.
Because that is also something that we feel like students need to know how to be safe online. It's not just how are we, feeling today, but how are we interacting online so that we're staying safe so we can feel good about ourselves. So we actually partner with Be Internet Awesome, the Google curriculum for digital citizenship. And so it's a collection of 35 ready to use Pear Deck activities. So we paired the interactivity with Pear Deck. They built the great lessons, and you're going to be able to use them at any classroom. And it's a great way for them to collaborate, think about, and be able to be safe online. So there's like different pillars of the Be Internet Awesome curriculum, but you can click right here. It's going to copy them right into your Google Drive, and you will have access to all 35 lessons for you to create however you want. Nothing is going to be set in stone. We love to have these so that they're editable so you can make them custom to your classroom. So just a great partnership that we also have with Google.
No, I love that. I think digital citizenship is incredibly important. And I think sometimes people think, well, our kids, our students are growing up with technology. Do we really need to train them how to use? The answer is yes.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because sometimes, students have a digital personality and then a face-to-face personality. And they may not act the way in person as they do online. And we want them to align to the same personality. Right? We don't want them to be emboldened in digital citizenship to not be nice, right? And so I have used Google's Be Internet Awesome, and it is in fact awesome. So I love the fact that not only do you have kind of some pre-built slides to help teachers get started, but you're using a curriculum that's really near and dear to me because I think it is very essential aspect of learning within every classroom. Our students need to be reminded to be respectful in every modality of their lives, right? Not just when you're face to face with an adult, right?
Absolutely. And I think that more than anything, we wanted to make sure that we weren't creating a curriculum that we felt like was subpar. We wanted to be able to work with somebody who has this really great curriculum like Google's Be Internet Awesome and make it interactive with our Pear Deck tool. And so it's something that we really pride ourselves in, having this really great curriculum, but also having that interactivity. And there's some really great things in there where the students are collaborating. They're doing it in student pace mode. So there's a lot of things that are happening that maybe aren't teacher directed, but student and peer directed, that are really going to make students think about their digital safety.
Oh, that's fantastic. And I want to kind of go back to social emotional learning because, when we receive students into our classroom,
Yep.
we don't know how their night went. We don't know how their day went after they had left our class. We don't know how they're coming in to class. And if we go straight into teaching, if they're not ready to be taught, we're not going to truly, reach them. So we need to make sure that they're ready. And those spot checks, right? How are you feeling today?
Mhm.
How was your bucket?
Yeah,
And those
this one's
visual,
my
those
favorite.
visual cards. I
This
mean,
one's my favorite.
it has to happen at the beginning of every class. We have to test how our students are feeling before we get going. I love this. I don't think I've ever seen these cards before.
Yeah.
Now I'm even more excited to get back in the pair game, right?
This is my absolute favorite slide because you learn a ton. I don't know how many times I've used this slide in a presentation I'm doing with just educators, and you can see what's really filling their bucket and what's draining it today. So it's like you can really do those like targeted check-ins because you're like, oh, this one's a little more negative than I had anticipated. And so you can really say, hey, I see that maybe you're struggling today. And it's a really nice way. And within Pear Deck, if you did not know, you have the ability to add feedback and talk to students in real time. So if you're seeing something happen in real time on this slide, you're going to be able to check in with that student immediately. And it's anonymous. It's just teacher to student communication. So that's another way to make sure that you're really keeping tabs on students' social emotional health.
Yeah, I love this, and what you just said, goes to that Pear Deck works in every modality of teaching, whether you are face to face, whether you are virtual, whether you are blended. It works perfectly. I have to tell a story that I would use Pear Deck in my classroom for instruction, and of course, I would put the link out in our LMS, and I would have students who were homesick, but they'd follow the LMS, they'd click on the link, and they'd participate in the lesson from home. And I'd be like, I thought Audrey was homesick, but she's right here answering all the questions. It just blew my mind that that was possible, right? And that was all the way back like with 2016, 2017. I can only imagine all the changes that have happened with Pear Deck since then. That's awesome.
That's still possible, just so you
It's
know.
still possible. No, it's just amazing, yeah, so I see the social emotional learning aspect, the digital citizenship aspect. But what if a teacher just wants to do a lesson? Do they have the ability to still create from scratch? Or like if they don't, let's say they don't have the time and they like, oh, I wish somebody else had a Pear Deck I can just like clone and use. Is that ability available in the orchard in Pear Deck?
Absolutely. Okay, you're asking all the right questions, Joe. So you can, of course, use templates that are already in the templates library. They're just going to be one-click installs, but the Content Orchard is full of different activities from some of our partners like Newsomatic, Facing History and Ourselves. We have lots of different ones in here. Let me clear the electives one. So you can see that there's tons of different ones that they're already in here. You can filter them by certain subject areas. You can filter them by grade level, science, technology, math, professional development. I mean, there's so many different things here. And so when you have these, it's going to be, okay, I want to use this brain break for challenges today. You're going to copy it to your drive. It's going to put a copy of it into your drive, and then you are going to be able to edit however you see fit. You just click Start Pear Deck Lesson, and this is ready to go. Now, you can preview it a little bit if you want. If there's more slides in here, you can go through it and check to see what you want, or you can just pull this one slide and be able to utilize in your lesson. So you do not have to go through and build anything on your own. Things are already in here for you, and you're going to be able to pull them, grab them, and go. Certified math lessons, English language arts, math checks. I mean, we have them for every ability level, everything that you would think of. So check them out. Pull them from the Content Orchard and make them your own.
Well, I love this. We hear about teacher burnout, and a lot of times it happens because, we take pride in creating and crafting work for our students, and we feel we have to do it from scratch every single time. And that takes a lot of work. And when you have the opportunity to utilize pre-made lessons that are of high quality, that are still malleable, where you can go in and make some changes to meet the needs of your school community, I think that saves a lot of time and empowers the teacher to keep going forward. And again, I think you're doing great work and showcasing that, and how Pear Deck is making learning manageable, I guess you would say, to meet the needs of all of our students. And again, like I said, my little filter I use, inspect, redirect, make correct, like Pear Deck is like at the top of that list whenever I talk about that, because it is truly a tool that I could not teach without. I literally couldn't.
And I
without
think
Pear
that
Deck.
that's what we're trying to make people see, is that with Pear Deck, it's the one platform that you can put everything else into. So it's not one more thing. It's going to be the thing that you need to put all those things in. So put all of your flipped lessons, put all of your Padlets, your Google Forms, be able to make your lesson interactive, and do that all with a Pear Deck platform. So you mentioned you want to make it easier, right? You don't want to make it harder. Whatever you already have built can be turned into interactive by clicking on one of these interactive question types. Literally, it's just going to be a one-click install. You're going to see this populate on my screen in a matter of seconds. The bar is at the bottom and you're done. I've just made this interactive and it took me less than 30 seconds.
Magic.
So use what you have, friends, because nobody wants to spend all this time making new. You can, and then if you're ready to take it off, you just delete the bar and you now have interactivity off and you can move on with this lesson.
Oh, this is great. Again, this is something I think every teacher needs to experience. And once you experience, you're not going back. Trust me. And I feel very honored, Amber, to be able to talk with you about this, because it warms my heart to know there's someone as passionate as you leading this mission. But you are going to be at Spring Q this week. You will be in the vendor hall at booth 903, and the Pear Deck team will be there as well. And so will you be able to demo some of these lessons, showcase to educators coming by how they can do this in a snap? Will they be able to come by and see this in person for themselves if they're attending the conference?
Absolutely. I'm always equipped with my computer so that they can see any and everything that they'd like to know about Pear Deck. But you're right. I'm just as passionate about it as maybe teachers and educators are. And I would love to be able to showcase and share with any teacher that comes by. Please come join me at booth 903. I will be there with a few other of the Pear Deck Learning team, and I will show you any and everything you want to know, and even those app smashing and social emotional learning templates if you want to hear about it.
Excellent. Love it. And everybody who's watching right now, you see that URL scrolling across the screen down there. That is the link. If you click on that, you'll get access to all of these different sources we've been talking to. Plus, I hear there's a free 90-day premium subscription link there anybody can click on as well, right?
Oh, look at you knowing all the things. Yes, you absolutely are going to get all the resources on that link. You're going to get access to the Be Internet Awesome curriculum. You're going to get access to my self-paced Pear Deck so you can play around in it yourself. And 90 days free of Pear Deck Premium. Please use that to be able to see how it all works and have access to all the premium features. Just so you know, the 90 days doesn't start from today. It starts from whenever you decide to click that and sign up. So use it at the beginning of the school year and save it. You can do that as well, whatever you want to do with it.
Love it. I always love when they get to go in and play with all the stuff, right? And catch that bug. Well, Amber, thank you so much for being here today. I cannot wait to see you in person this week in a few short days. And everybody who is watching, oh, we are so excited. We are so excited that you will be with us in person in Palm Springs. If you see myself or Amber walking the conference halls, please give us a fist bump, an elbow bump, whatever you're comfortable with. Let us know how excited you are, because we absolutely will tell you how excited we are. So until we see each other, Amber, in person, and you audience as well, we hope you have yourselves a wonderful, wonderful day.